people can start losing weight just by making better decisions.
Motivation is driven from the inside out.
Use flexibility as a tool. Rely on structure when it's helpful.
This is where we discuss the possibilities.
Hey guys, this is Kori Probst with the Diet Doc. I'm the Wellness Director and Vice President, and we're here today again with the Life Mastery Podcast. I'm here too with Dr. Joe Klemczewski, who's the founder of the Diet Doc. Hey, today, you know what? We're on the heels of the 2018 Diet Doc Annual Owner Summit. And we've spent this week kind of digging into what we covered there and our observations. And today, really wanted to chat with you, Joe, too, about what you noticed and what you observed among our owners specifically as humans, as entrepreneurs, their skills, their strengths, their capacities, and what you notice that really has them moving in positive directions.
Well, I have quite a list we could go over, but ironically, I've spoken to a couple of our program owners already today, one of whom was not at the conference, and she said immediately, oh my gosh, I can't believe I missed it. It looks so amazing. All the video clips, all the photos, all the comments. I'm going to make it a priority to be there next year. And, you know, it's always like that when you get people together that don't see each other all the time. And especially at these big summit type events, you walk away thinking that is exactly what I needed. That was not just the material, not just the know-how, but the connection. And so I would say, as I looked around the room, and I've even been talking to some different people in business, going over what we do, trying to explain some things, conversations we're having. And I said, you know what really I think embodies the best coach or the best consultant is simply having a lot of energy. I mean, we call it passion, but I think in terms of personality traits, it really comes out in two ways. An extrovert, you'll say, is just energetic. They're shaking the room. You can't keep your eyes off of them. They're commanding a presence. And the introverts, you know, aren't going to necessarily be like that, but they still have a glowing positivity. They're happy. They're smiling. You're also as attracted to them. And so I think if you're going to characterize something that's going to lead to success in all areas of life, not just fitness, entrepreneurship, you got to have that attractability that's going to come out as energy and positivity.
Oh my gosh, I totally agree. And I'm feeling that energy right now as we're talking about it. I like to classify that as enthusiasm. And yes, you can see that just kind of oozing out of the pores of the people who aren't verbalizing so much. And we have people on both ends of the spectrum. And it doesn't necessarily matter whether they're more towards the introverted side versus the extroverted side, how successful they are in business. It's just that enthusiasm and energy is a very attractive quality. And I feel like that pulls people in. People can relate to that. And it just brings the volume of that energy up for everyone who is around them. You know, something that I noticed, everyone in that room has this very intense dedication to their craft, to their area of expertise. And when I say dedication, I just mean that they look at the ultimate outcome. They have that in mind. They have that vision, but they're able to kind of toggle between that and the process, the in the moment, what am I doing right now? What needs taken care of? What do I need to learn and grow into? So going back and forth between those two ends of the spectrum. And everyone does that a little bit differently, but they all have that level of self-awareness to be able to say, okay, where am I right now? And where am I right now in this space? And what do I need to be thinking about or feeling into in a different way? Did you feel that?
Yeah, I think as I sift through in my mind personality traits or character traits that people
Mhm.
embody that lead to success, the center of that target to me is that craft, those skills, that everything that we want to do as clinicians or coaches is affected by how we approach it and
Mhm.
by our own skills. But I put that in my mind as kind of a sense of humanity. So you've got that energy and positivity, but then you do deeply care about not just the craft, but the people you're helping, your clients, your coworkers, everybody around you. And that's another thing I just see in spades throughout our company.
Mhm.
It's unbelievable, truly. I mean, I can't imagine another group of people. You get 50, 100, 150 people together who just have that much dedication to each other to
Yeah,
be the best we can all be. It's mind blowing.
I agree. As we came out of it, you had made a post within the owner Facebook group that we have, and asking kind of what were the themes that everyone noticed when we were together. And in my mind, I had this image of a pyramid. And at the bottom of the pyramid was exactly what you just said, connection. But aligned with the connection between us as, you know, as owners and clinicians within the Diet Doc as a company, was the word for me, contribution. So we're contributing to our own success, we're contributing to each other's success, but we're also contributing to the greater good, humanity, and our clients' success. And for all of us to have that as the foundation of our craft and of the missions of our businesses, it's super powerful. The second piece on top of connection, for me, was innovation.
Mhm.
And what I saw among all of our owners was not that they, how do I want to say this in the most articulate way? They don't have to go out and try to do what no one else has done, like the new frontier, but they're very, very creative and discerning in terms of filling a gap that needs filled, even just within their communities, not in the industry at large, but within their individual communities. They're very observant in regards to what needs to happen and what needs to be need to be fulfilled for the people there. So innovation was big, and then from those two things, connection and innovation, we just saw people having insights like left and right. So insight was a big theme that I noticed as well. And our owners are masterful in terms of facilitating that among their clients as well. And as they were telling their clients stories, it just became very clear that the manner in which they practice themselves as just personally moves into their profession, and they're sparking these breakthroughs and insights among their clients and increasing their levels of self-awareness. And so it was a pyramid for me, one thing building on top of another. Did you notice two specific things within that insight or innovation perspective?
Well, now that everybody thinks we're part of the Illuminati because you put our whole company mission in a pyramid, but want to disavow that. We're not some secret society, but we could be. We're that good. Um, I do agree with you 100%. And that's why I started that thread. I did a little video on, think of a theme. I want to keep this energy rolling from the conference into our daily lives. And
Mhm.
I remember a part of one of my lectures on business development, I was way out in left field talking about how you've got to do the things nobody else has even thought of. Forget about not being where the puck is, but going where you anticipated going. Now you got to go completely off the rink.
Mhm.
But at the same time that you're doing that, trying to be innovative and trying to consider where the next big need is going to be,
Mhm.
don't forget about the basics. Don't forget about why people come to us anyway. So I think that's always a balance in fitness entrepreneurship, especially because the field just keeps expanding so rapidly and changing and evolving. But we have to learn how to innovate and be novel, create a niche, use our own individual strengths in ways that differentiate us. But don't forget that it's the ultimate customer or potential client looking in saying, I don't care what you guys are doing out there on the periphery. This is what I need. This is what I see when I look in your company or in your messaging. So I totally agree. The connection's huge in between clinicians and within our industry, but also to our clients, absolutely funneling all the way up into innovation and all of those core competencies that just make us the best coaches we can be.
Yeah. There were so many times in that space where I just felt kind of speechless. As I love that the way that we structure it, because there are panels that we have different owners come up for to contribute, how they're doing certain things and their thought processes. And the panels, I feel like, are one of the most generative aspects. Like I love to give my presentations, and I know you do too, and people generate great value from them. But when we have 4 or 5 of our owners come up to discuss their process, what they're doing specifically, and just demonstrating this amazing curiosity for an openness to other ideas and alternatives, that for me was the most awe-inspiring. Like, I'm not just going to spew everything that I'm doing really, really well. Like, let's collaborate. And one of the things that happened afterwards that really aligns with that is one of the owners said, hey, you guys want to have like a Diet Doc mastermind? I was like, yes. That, we were doing what we called micro groups, where we'd have all of our owners come in and we'd be focusing on one topic or another, a concept. But for the owner to say, hey guys, let's get together, let's start chatting more often, let's collaborate, let's generate ideas, that was big. And I think it's one of the traits that makes an entrepreneur successful, but makes anyone, no matter what our aim in life is, more successful, and that optimizes their motivation.
Yeah, interestingly, you're bringing together 2 things that I think are just perfect as a way to close this topic for now, and that is, we both started out with connection, and that was the bottom of your pyramid, and for me it was that just having that entire group of people together to contribute to each other. But you just brought up the concept of openness. And I read 2 interesting articles and studies this week on openness. One, Forbes magazine had an article about the number 1 single common trait among successful entrepreneurs is they have the biggest, most open network of influence. So they're saying, I don't know it all. I need a lot of people feeding into my life. And I just read an article that said that's also the greatest personality trait showing intelligence. So the greater the openness, the greater the IQ. So if you're challenged by how can I just become smarter and more of an expert in anything, open yourself up to a massive amount of great influence.
Yeah, that's huge. Putting yourself in an environment where you can draw on that positive energy, intelligence, data, information. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, and instead of thinking, how can I contribute because I know so much, going in saying, I don't know enough, how can I learn from all of these other people?
Well, and so real quick, we could talk about this forever, but one of the things that was very apparent were the individuals who were most successful in making the most headway in changing lives and getting in front of the most people was that they were collaborating with more people within their communities and establishing those connections and friendships. And so I want to ask everyone who's listening and who's watching to just reflect upon how open to experience in general they are, but open to getting to know other people and putting themselves out there and making new friends and just getting curious in a way that allows them to really up their game in that manner for optimizing their lives.
Definitely.
Awesome. Well, cool. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will be back again tomorrow. Please like, please share. We love your comments and your feedback. And thanks again for your support.